It's Saturday, July 11th, 2026. We'll take a look at the work I've been doing in the basement. As always, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Do not assume that I know what I'm doing, and do not do what I do without checking out things on your own. So I'm coming down the steps we're seeing here. This is the first stud wall that I was putting together just to test things out, see how my things were working. I've got a lot more to go, but you can see I've got this rigid foam insulation on the wall, and it's on all the exterior walls of the basement. So if I pan around, we're looking at the south wall, now looking at the east wall, looking around to the north wall, and then catching a little bit of the west wall there. So that stuff is in place. Where we're looking right now, this is going to be the storage room, ultimately. And we're going to have a room separated on that side. So if I back up a little bit here, where we're going to be walking through, this will be a hallway, and there will be I'll put up another stud wall along here to make the hallway. You can see on the floor here where they had this drain that had the cutout. And so I blocked out so that the concrete wouldn't fill up the drain, but I would level the floor there. My best guess is that that was cut out so that it was just a low spot in the floor, and it made it easy for water to go into that drain. So let's take a look at what else I've got going on here. If we look at the floor here, you can see where I've got the line marked across the room. So where this is going to end up being the additional room. There will be a door in this area. We had walked through what will be the hallway, and there'll be another door that will end up being in this area someplace. And so then we'll have the wall that'll be along here and along here that will close off the storage area. Like I said, a door to get into the storage area, another door somewhere here to get into the other room. Yesterday I was working on building, I call it a soffit. I guess it could be called a chase. Some people call it a bulkhead. I'm following a technique that I saw online that I've modified slightly using these 2x2x8s on, I used oriented strand board. And I'm actually bracing them across the bottom here, so I've got a place to nail the drywall instead of running them along like it is on the top. I decided to do it this way. I'm using 5/8 inch Type X fire rated drywall, which is really heavy. And these are too long of spans for doing the proper fastening. So I decided this way I'd have more fastening space, and then it's also helping me to keep these pieces plumb and at a uniform distance. So I think that's going to work out pretty well. So one of the things I've done is I used a laser level to mark a reference line on this south wall, and I actually ended up needing to move it out another 1/2 inch beyond what I marked originally because this wall appears to bow out potentially, and I wasn't going to have enough space at the top, I noticed, to be able to get the 2x4 stud wall plumb because this got too tight against the insulation. So I moved it out another 1/2 inch, and so I've got the reference line that was down here. I used that reference line to set another reference line here for making part of the soffit. And then I took the reference line across so I can decide what the stud wall is going to be there. Because what I found out is the north wall and the south wall are not parallel to each other. They diverge. And so I'm going to actually get that cleaned up with my placement of the stud wall, which means that what's going to happen is on this northeast side, the stud wall is actually going to be like slightly over 1 inch farther away from the wall as it will be on the northwest side of what's going to be the room. But it should result in the room being square, actually, that the north and south wall would be parallel to each other. Should be able to make it so the east and the west walls are parallel to each other, and the room actually has nice square corners. So making my way through, mostly I've been getting a lot of blocking in. We've got an obstruction with this radon mitigation system here. So I'm gonna have a little soffit that ends up being there. And I decided to just basically continue that same thing across so that the ceiling will end up having that same little drop in it. I'll box in around this pipe here, and I'm gonna put a closet along here. This is a heated space. I'm gonna need to do work to lower the register so it'll come flush with the ceiling when I have it in there. I'm not going to be paying to have somebody create an egress window right now. Maybe at some time we'll end up doing that. And then this could even qualify as a bedroom. I've done previous videos about the electrical that I was looking at, mostly related to the shared neutral. I'm gonna be redoing the lights in here. There were just 2 fixtures in this space, this side of the basement before, and I'm planning to put in 8 recessed LED cans. And then I'll have to decide on what's gonna be in the storage area. If I just wanna leave, there's a fixture there, there's another fixture there. If maybe I'll expand that to have 4 fixtures. I pulled all of the cabling out. That was all aluminum. That's what I was talking about before when I was learning about how this was wired. There's 2 different circuits that are shared. One goes to the furnace, and then one is for the rest of the basement lights here. So I will pigtail copper to the aluminum source line that's coming in and have that in a junction box. And then I'll have another junction box where I've got the other circuits coming out, and I'll have to do things like getting the proper spacing of receptacles all along these, what are going to be the walls of the room here. This is looking where the west wall will end up being. So I'm going to be running a lot more cable in here. So that's where things stand right now. And I'll see about remembering to take more videos as I go along.